The Environmental Protection Agency is trying to roll back rules limiting carbon and air pollution from fossil fuel power plants. Today, EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin said the Trump administration is showing it can, quote, both protect the environment and grow the economy. The move is a sharp reversal of Biden-era efforts to rein in greenhouse gases that contribute to climate change. CBS News national environmental correspondent David Schechter joins us now. And David, what exactly does this rollback mean once it goes into effect?
Well, really what they're trying to do here is revoke two Biden-era type rules. The first one reduces carbon emissions that come out of power plants. Carbon emissions, once they go into the atmosphere, warm the atmosphere up, they stay up there for hundreds of years. That's what creates climate change. The other aspect here is eliminating some rules that were trying to reduce mercury emissions particularly from coal-fired power plants. That's a powerful neurotoxin that's can be really difficult on the developing young human body. So what they're saying is the Biden administration in 2024 had ramped up both of those rules, making it more difficult to pollute. And what the EPA now says is, we're going to get rid of those rules. We don't want to follow those Biden-era rules. They're going to make it essentially easier to pollute. And they say that will save regulated industries in this power sector $1.2 billion a year.
So if you're saying that it would potentially be easier to pollute, is there an expectation that these power plants will start to exceed the restrictions that they were previously held to under the greenhouse gas emission standards?
That's not what we heard today from the EPA. They're saying the rules that are in place today will be the rules that stay in place. These rules that they're talking about are intended to come into play in the future. They would eventually ramp up and get there. So they're saying the rules that are happening today will stay in place. I think it's really important to note that still allows for pollution. And when we have, this existential issue of climate change, as these pollutants get up into the atmosphere, as greenhouse gases get into the atmosphere, they stay there for a long time. So you're baking in the issue of climate change into the future. You're releasing existing pollutants that impact the health of the health of communities around the country, particularly in low-income minority communities that really deal with the emissions, the pollution that come from power plants that happen to be largely in their own communities.
Yeah, I thought it was noteworthy that EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin was saying that they could, quote, both protect the economy or protect the environment and grow the economy, as we mentioned. But the Trump administration is arguing here that fossil fuel plants do not contribute to climate change. What do we know about that?
I think that's the most interesting thing that comes out of today. That is not true. 31% of our carbon emissions, our greenhouse gas emissions in this country, come from the energy sector. So to say that they are not a significant contributor is absolutely not true. But the reason that they're saying things like that is because they want to reduce regulation on carbon, as they're talking about today. But if you say it's not a driver of climate change, from the position of the EPA, which is the regulator here, then they would not need to regulate carbon dioxide as an emission. So the writing on the wall there is further reductions in regulation and less regulation on carbon dioxide, to the point where they're saying, I guess, we'll hear in the future that it doesn't even need to be regulated.
David Schechter, we appreciate your reporting. Thank you very much.